Welcome everyone to another episode of the Warmup. I'm here with the guys as per usual. It's me, First Hoodie Chris, been in the building. We got Kurtchella and we have Kev RL in the building. Say what's up, Kurtchella. Say what's up, Kev. Say what's up to the people, man, who's rocking with
Are you
us.
stealing my nickname? I'm First Hoodie, bro. I had this hoodie on before you had the hoodie on.
My name clearly says First Hoodie Chris.
Yeah.
It clearly says
change
First
it?
Hoodie. It clearly says First Hoodie Chris.
Wow.
Why was so? You know. Now we got it on wax, so it's okay.
Yeah, it's official.
It's official.
You're right. I'm original Hoodie Kurt. You can be First Hoodie Chris. It's all good, man. I'm OG. Let's go with it.
Okay.
Good save.
I don't know, man.
Thank you,
That's
Kev.
fine. He's just a positive guy. He's not gonna berate you like I do. So, but,
Kev is a positive guy.
but yeah, man. If this is your first time rocking with us, man, this is a place where we talk about sports, current events, and everything else in between through the lens of Black culture. We're here every Tuesday, man, rocking with us. Please come through on the YouTube side if you're already here, and if you want to listen to us on the audio only, we're on all your favorite podcast platforms, including Spotify, Apple, Anchor, Google, Deezer. I'm sure probably on somewhere on SoundCloud. And also, yeah, check us out on social media. We're on Grindhouse NTWK on Instagram and also on Grindhouse NTWK on Twitter. Same thing for Reddit. And you can always find us and look for us for Discord. We do have a Discord server, so for people to come in, they can talk about whatever they want to talk about with relation to sports, off-topic stuff, banter, trash talk, and yeah, just trying to keep it wholesome and fun. So. Anything else, man, that I missed?
You're still here, so I guess we can't get rid of you. So.
Nah, man, you can't get rid of the star, man. So it's okay, cause I'm the first one. Cause I'm the first one.
That's why Kevin's here.
I'm the first one. I'm the first one. I'm the first Hoodie, Chris. You know what I'm saying?
And I'm original Hoodie Kurt, man. Why are you jocking me? That's the question.
Actually, that's not what the name says, as you guys can see. So, anyways, let's move on, man. This guy here is just being a troll. Let's move on, man. Look, the season of the NBA is complete. The final form of Voltron is done, and we have leased our picture for the play-ins and the playoffs so far. So, but before we get into that, man, we saw one team that just didn't even make it into it. Like, I mean, we thought they were going to be a title contender. You know, you had Westbrook and you had AD and you had LeBron and you know you had Frank Vogel. You had David Fizdale on the bench. You had Kent Bazemore and Carmelo and all these people who 30 and above. Essentially, man, they were plagued by injuries. Ankles was taking out AD and ankles were taking out LeBron and Russ played. I think Russ played all the games, most if not all the games.
Yeah, almost all. Yeah.
Hey, who was almost the scoring leader in the season? Who was in contention for the scoring?
LeBron
champion?
James.
Okay.
Yeah. So,
Okay. All right.
But again, you could score 30 points a game and still lose, and the Lakers lost 49 times, or probably gonna be 50 times soon.
Probably 50. Yeah.
So, probably have one of the worst records in Lakers franchise history. And again, at the beginning of the season, no one would have thought that they were going to not even be in the picture of the play-in, let alone the playoffs. So I'm just gonna throw it to you, Kev. I know you're a big LeBron fan. You watched half the games until you was just like, I'm over it, and did the SpongeBob and just headed out. What happened to the team, man? Like, why couldn't they figure it out and just get into the playoffs, at least to the play-ins? What happened?
To the play-ins. You touched on some of it. You mentioned the injuries. I think that's the biggest factor. If I looked at how many games they played, I'm not sure. I didn't fact check this, but I saw they only played 21 games, the trio.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if that's true, that's like, I don't know how that happens. LeBron played 56 games. AD played 40 anyway. Westbrook played most of his games, but they said together they only played 21 games. That's not enough. In those 21 games, they were 11-10. So at least they were above 500. That's not a great thing to brag about, but just barely being over 500. But at least they were doing above 500.
Mm-hmm.
I would have to chalk it up to injuries, man, because the King came on and did what he was supposed to do. Kurt just threw in that little snippet there, like who's there for the contendership for scoring title. It's LeBron, so he was definitely there putting out his effort, putting out what he needed to put out. But for me, man, I could have saw early on, like around Christmas time, I was still behind them, rocking with them. And right around that Christmas time turn, I felt the wind wasn't going to go in the direction we needed to go. It wasn't looking like things were clicking. They didn't make any moves before the cutoff period for deadlines for trades and all that stuff. Is like, wait, what's going on? What's happening? Y'all trying, or y'all just like thinking y'all got it? Like, is that good? Is it that good that you're just gonna turn on the switch when it's time? I wasn't sure what the thought was, but it wasn't looking good. So I faded a long time ago, knowing that this was going to be the outcome. I'm kind of happy they didn't make the play-ins, because I don't think they would have stand a chance. I think it would have been one of those things where they in by a thread, and that thread wouldn't hold up. Maybe it would have been good for them if they made it to the playoffs and get that energy from it and say, okay, we can do something bigger next year. But go home, rest. Y'all old. Y'all injured. Take a break.
Hey, Anthony Davis is 28 years old, so
the average team on the average team, they are average. A lot of people aren't playing though. We talked about it, like Trevor Ariza, Kendrick Nunn.
But he suited up since the preseason.
None?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's just a lot of things working right with the roster.
Mm-hmm.
So the roster was just jacked up, like in general, and maybe they didn't have the right roster to begin with. That's something we could argue about too. Did they have the right roster to begin with? But with what they had, it never came together. With respect to it, everyone being healthy at the same time, and I think that would always play a big factor in any run to the playoffs. But this one, even more so for the Lakers, because that's who they needed. They needed those guys to do what they did. We got 4 of the top 75 players. I'm gonna stop talking out, man. We got 4 of the top 75 players. What else do you want? $150 million roster down the drain.
Whoa, okay. You sounded like, yo, this is just a disaster. The Titanic was sinking, and you had nothing to show for it.
It is.
Okay.
Nothing to show for it.
Like the
I was trying to find a statistic of is this the most expensive team to not make it to the playoffs? Like, but I couldn't get that. I couldn't get that data point.
I was gonna say, I don't know, man. The Brooklyn Nets, or where they had Paul
Yeah,
Pierce,
Kevin, KG,
Joe Johnson, yeah, that was pretty expensive too. So yeah, but yeah, I mean, you make it sound like it was a fire festival that didn't happen. Like, you put all this money into it, and then next thing you know, man, you know, you on cots and little tents with cheese and bread as your meal. So, Coachella, man, you want to add fuel to this fire? You want to go ahead and just dump on them too?
Yeah, so Kev, I love you, bro. I love you so much, man. I love you like a brother I never had, man. But to say injuries was the reason why the Lakers didn't make the playoffs, I'm gonna shake my finger no for that one, man. Because Google is our best friend, right? So I was fact checking. I was over here with the Google fingers, fact checking. I googled something that brought up the most injuries this season. It brought up 10 teams. Summary of the 10 teams that had the most injuries to the core important players, only 2 didn't make the playoffs. You know who those 2 are? We know the Lakers and the Pacers. But you know where the Lakers fall in on that list? Because you brought up like 20-some games that trio played. Golden State Warriors core only played 11 minutes if they're in the playoffs, right? The Los Angeles Clippers, days off due to injury accumulated by its players, 256. Kawhi Leonard literally boycotted the season. The Clippers' best player said, you know what? I realized in my soul, I'm a playoff player. I'm not a regular season player, so I'll come back in the playoffs. That's the rumor, right? 257 and counting. Number 2 was the Orlando Magic. They ain't make it. The Bucks, 214. Heat, 208. Golden State, 189. And then the Lakers are tied with Golden State for 189. But before them, the only team that didn't make it was the Magic.
Mm-hmm.
So I cannot subscribe to the fact that the reason why the Lakers didn't make it is because of injuries. I will place some of the blame at the feet of Rob Pelinka because the whole NBA knows as great a player, as great an advocate, as great a person that LeBron James is, he is absolutely the worst GM to ever exist outside of
He's not a GM.
Michael Jordan.
Go ahead.
Right? Because Jordan was one of the greatest to ever play the game, but as a GM, he sucked. Remember his Wizards team? Remember how the Hornets were constructed when he bought the team because he was actively involved. When he stepped back, boom. We all allegedly LeBron James constructed this team. I don't know what in his mind thought that bringing in Russell Westbrook needs the ball. I'm gonna say that he needs the ball. LeBron also needs the ball. Needs the ball. LeBron's best teams, it was him surrounded with one playmaker and shooters. Right? That was it. Think about him and Kawhi, him and Irving. Think about him and Dwayne Wade. Bosh essentially became a rebounder and a shooter. Think about those teams. Those are like his greatest iconic teams. The Lakers team that won in the bubble years, that's not in the top. That's not in the top three of LeBron's greatest teams. This is not. It's not. Right? So it's the construction of the team, like you mentioned later on in your saying. So you got to look at Rob Pelinka, who said yes, or maybe Kurt Rambis. I know he's behind the scenes, or Jenny Buss, or the Lakers have a committee of GM. It's really confusing up there. I can't subscribe to the fact that it's because of injury. Just looking at these statistics, at the top 10, Orlando and the Pacers, and the Lakers, of course, are only three in the top 10 of teams that have the most days off from injury to their players.
That's a cool stat.
Yeah, the Google figures are quick, bro.
I'm gonna rebut on that and just say that's a cool stat, right? However, you know what hits you, like the way the rain affects you, don't affect me the same way. You know, I love to play in the rain. You might want to cover up and hide. So for the Lakers, I think the injury that they got hit with was more detrimental for the fact that they just put a lot of emphasis on that core. Warriors, like you mentioned, and some other teams in there, they kind of had a system they were working on before. Kawhi has been out for quite some time, so they're used to playing without him. That's not a surprise. Paul George was a bigger hit, I would think. But they still made it work. Give a lot of credit to Ty Lue for that. You know what I mean? So let's not take away where the credit is due for those teams that still made it in spite of all of those injuries. So a lot of factors. Those teams that made it, it could have been because they had some extra sauce that got them over the hump, or the injuries itself wasn't something that hurt their system. But Lakers, I don't even know what their system is, so they were still trying to find it. And before they could find it, the continuity, they didn't have any consistency going forward. So it's like they couldn't bring anything together. So the injuries for them, I feel, was more detrimental just because they never had an opportunity to find a system to play with it.
I can hear that. Okay, I hear you on the Kawhi Leonard thing. My only counter with the Denver Nuggets is it doesn't. Your point about consistency, I still hear that. This doesn't match that. But Denver Nuggets losing Jamal Murray and Michael Porter Jr., it's a three-person core. They only have one person left, which is Jokic, one of the greatest who's ever played the game.
Yeah.
But it doesn't counter your consistency thing because still they have the role players coming off the bench. Jokic is used to those guys. They have a system. They know their roles and how to play it. Where the Lakers went from a defensive first team to trying to be bringing more offensive players, but you have a defensive minded coach. It didn't jive. But as far as time and importance, the Warriors, they're used to playing without Clay. Denver, I think their injuries are more substantial than the Lakers. But once again, I do succeed in the fact that the consistency, the Lakers didn't have that. I hear that point.
I'll take that. I'll say that's why they're probably number 6, because they. That's not the only reason. They have a lot of contenders in the West. That's probably the main reason. But Nuggets could have done better this year. We know that.
So, I do like what both of y'all are saying. I think there's some validity in both of those. There's some truths in there. So, good kudos for that, Kev, and second hoodie, Kurt.
Yes.
The only
original hoodie, Kurt. I don't know. You have your headphones on. I know you hear my voice. I'm not on mute. I know. Hold on. Nope, not on mute. I just checked it.
Rotate.
Now you rotated himself. This is what I'm saying. This is what copycats do. They do all. It's like a Chinese knockoff. Like I'm like Adidas and you like Abitas. Like you just want to be there. You just want to be a part of the processes. But you don't even have your hoodie on. Like it's halfway on. So I'm just saying, like you're not there, man. You're just not. You're a second hoodie.
What? I'm the original hoodie.
All right. Well, anyway, that's not the topic of discussion.
Come on, go ahead, Chris. What you got?
Hey, man. That's all you see because you don't see the rest of my head because there's a hood on it. You know what I mean? So it's all good. But this is one thing I did want to point out here. There's one thing that you guys. There's some injuries. Yes, there was a big factor. What was the other thing you said? You know what? I don't know. What did you say? What were you talking about?
Kev brought up the lack of consistency, like a playing style. They never developed a playing style.
Yeah.
Because they went from defense to, I guess, an offensive team with a defensive coach.
Yeah. So, and that's what I'm gonna go with, man. Look, injuries aside, yeah, you can have injuries and still have a cultural identity. Obviously, they brought back only 2 returning players from the previous season, with that being AD and LeBron. And AD obviously didn't get the memo because he was out. You know what I'm saying? He bumped his elbow on the way out the locker room. He out 16 games. He's gone.
One time for Mr. Glass.
Yeah.
You don't want to be out, man.
I know. He's just fragile. It is what it is.
It is.
So this is the thing. Injuries aside, there's a certain way, and it kind of makes sense, and it kind of feeds into your point, Kurt, about all the other teams that have been able to sustain and prosper with their cores being compromised, and that would being like the Bucks, who just came off a championship run. They still had their coach. They still had their defensive identity. They still had their offensive identity. The Golden State Warriors, nice. It's the epitome of pace and space and plugging in young guys, and Draymond just basically being the ball handler while Steph just shoots however many shots he can shoot within 48 minutes. And who else? Oh, Miami Heat. Butler's been out. Adebayo's been out.
Bam. Yeah.
Tyler here has been Tyler Hero and Kyle Lowry for the most part, like majority of the season.
And this is an asterisk because he hasn't been injured, but Duncan Robinson regressed, obviously.
Yeah.
He did. Yeah.
He has regressed. Oladipo, I think he came back late in the season, and then I haven't seen him since. So the only thing that I can see about all of this is coaching, right? And actually, when it comes to coaching, it's about actually forming an identity, a culture that everyone can get around and sustain. I don't think the Grizzlies was in that top 10, but they, Ja Morant was been out plenty of times. Dylan Brooks had a couple of injuries and things like that throughout the season. And guess what? They play better. I mean, without Ja Morant. But as far as a record, like in net rating, points per game. But that doesn't necessarily mean that they should. I'm not saying get rid of Ja Morant. He's the problem. I'm just saying. I'm just saying, like, that's a stat that happened, right? So, but the only thing that lies in common with all that is coaching and developing a culture. I don't know who it was. I don't know why it was. I don't know why, like, what's the root cause of it. But the Lakers in defensive efficiency this year is 21st. Now, the teams that are below them, that's in the Western Conference, is Portland and Houston.
Portland is
Sacramento.
Trying to lose. Portland's trying to lose.
Yeah.
Sacramento just doesn't know what they're doing. But Portland's trying to lose, intentionally trying to lose.
Yes. So Portland, Houston, and Sacramento. Those are the only teams in the West that are worse. So you're already playing an uphill battle if the other 12 teams in the Western Conference are playing better defense than you.
Yeah.
Not to mention OKC, which is also trying to lose, but their defensive efficiency is higher than them. That's so sad.
Exactly.
Very sad.
That is my point. And you have LeBron James. I get it. He's older, so he's probably not going to want to take on the burden of being a defensive guy. But yeah, you got to find some. Avery Bradley's over the top. Like, he's over the hill. Carmelo ain't never played no defense. I mean, I think he played a little bit better defense now than he was when he was in his prime. Trevor Ariza didn't come back until February or March to finally start playing at all. So who's guarding? AR-15 and Dwight Howard and
Austin Reed.
Kent Bazemore. Like these
You said can't.
Can't
Bazemore.
Oh man.
I mean, that's fitting though, because he not been a good year for him.
Yeah. So this is partially, I would say the team did the best that they could given their circumstances. I'm not gonna knock LeBron. He did everything that he was allowed to do. I'm not gonna knock the age and the injuries and all of that stuff. I'm gonna go right to the bench. I'm going right to the office. Rob Pelinka.
You're not gonna knock LeBron for his voice, alleged voice, in making his roster.
No. Guess what? He don't run the team.
Yeah.
And look, if you're gonna sit here and tell me that LeBron James is the only person in the NBA who has a voice in the team as a player, as a star player, as a franchise player, I will tell you to kindly look over at the Clippers and see what happened with Kawhi / Paul George deal. I'll tell you to go look over at Kevin Durant and with the Kyrie, Blake Griffin, LaMarcus Aldridge, DeAndre Jordan, all that stuff. Yeah. I would tell you to kind of look at Damian Lillard, who was vouching for, to keep CJ McCollum there. He was supporting all his coaches. He actually publicly said that Carmelo should be in the league, and they got him on the team. I would look.
I mean, yeah, I got that, but it's like, okay, DeMar DeRozan came out and said he wanted to go to the Lakers. He would have took less money to go to the Lakers. And this dude is rightfully so in the MVP conversation. He's not going to win, but he's in the conversation this season. Okay. Right? I think it's like he's in the top 5.
He's in the conversation, yeah. So
a top 5 MVP candidate who was willing to come to your team, you didn't want him. And then, not to mention, who's the cat from? It wasn't Sacramento. Buddy Hield.
Buddy Hield, yeah.
That trade was going out because you need shooters. Hield is an excellent 3-point shooter. That didn't happen. They got Westbrook. You're not telling me that LeBron. You tell me the front office knew what to get. So you telling me that LeBron was like, nah, bring me Westbrook? That's what I'm saying. You saying LeBron wasn't involved in that?
I'm actually saying that whether he was, number one, whether he was or wasn't, that's not his job and role. Number one. Secondly, so I reject your premise from the jump. But let me play with it a little bit. You think LeBron wouldn't want to play with DeMar DeRozan? Or
apparently no, because DeRozan wanted to come to the team. Who else would say no to DeMar? LeBron.
Okay. Do you think LeBron said no to Caruso? Because guess what? Caruso also said, I'd be willing to take less money and come back to the Lakers. He ended up in Chicago with more money. So you think that's LeBron too?
I don't think that's LeBron.
Okay.
Because the numbers together were amazing.
Exactly. So I'm just trying to say here, like, if you're gonna speculate and say LeBron had his hand in GMing, and you also see that Caruso deal that made no sense, the Westbrook deal in hindsight doesn't make any sense. But especially you have DeMar DeRozan on the table, you have Buddy Hield on the table,
and Buddy Hield. So you telling me? I think LeBron was thinking, I want somebody who can manage the offense without me. Oh, Westbrook, look at how great he is.
Again, you know what they had to do? They had to trade to get them, right?
Yeah.
Didn't DeMar DeRozan, wasn't he on a free agent?
Yeah.
Okay. So again, there's no reason why would you give up KCP and Kyle Kuzma, which I mean, I can vouch for Kyle Kuzma being traded, but KCP and try to do all that willing and dealing just to get Westbrook. Like that doesn't make any sense to me. Not from a player LeBron standpoint.
I'm literally looking at this article from the Los Angeles Times, a paper that is based in Los Angeles. That's the name of Los Angeles Times. But also the Lakers so happily to be located in also. Literally it says this is the third name is kind of weird, but James Davis Dudley. I don't know how Dudley got involved in there. Huddled together after they got kicked out of the playoffs last year to see how they can return. They went at They went at Damian Lillard. They had to ask for him. Couldn't get him. They went at Bill. Couldn't get him. They went at Kyle Lowry. Couldn't get him. So they looked at what they had. This is from the paper. And they said, Westbrook, you can get him. He wants to come back to LA, the city he grew up in.
Mm-hmm.
Los Angeles Times.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know,
that's
I'm just saying. They're tying it to, this is from Dan Wokey and Broderick Turner, right? They wrote this. They're tying it to LeBron James that he signed off on Russ.
Okay. So signing off equates to
He won it.
lobbying for him? Because signing off is like,
Him,
I like Russ.
Davis and Dudley huddled together and they came up with the plan.
Did they come up with the plan or did they sign off on it?
Both. They came up with the plan and signed off on it. Once the front office was like, whatever you want, it'll be just.
That's the front office because that's their job.
Thank you.
I'm
You're right. It should be.
on that point, man. It's not their job. They could suggest, they could whatever, lobby, all that stuff. At the end of the day, there's somebody who has to make the decision.
Yep.
And you getting paid to make the decision.
Yep.
So please make the right one.
Yeah. So
Not the most popular one, the right one.
hey, Tony Kukoc was not a popular decision, and guess what? They won with Tony Kukoc on the team.
You talking about with Phil Jackson? Michael Jordan wasn't making roster changes.
Oh,
He wasn't.
Michael Jordan lobbied too. He said he wanted some people. In fact, when he got he protested when they traded Oakley.
He protested Kukoc, him and Pippen.
But even before that, he protested when Oakley got traded away to New York.
Yeah.
So I'm just saying, Michael Jordan was doing the same thing. Again, tell me a player, and I'll tell you the teams that have. So every team, franchise player has been included. Kobe has been in on meetings for trying to recruit LaMarcus Aldridge. Yes, in fact, the first time it happened, the interview went so bad from LA's perspective, not Lakers, LaMarcus Aldridge's perspective, that he totally blew him off because they were talking about all the endorsements and all this like outside the basketball realm, like perks and amenities we can get access to. He's like, man, I just want to win. That's why he was like, I kind of scoffed at him and kind of walked away because they don't want to talk about basketball. They brought him back a second time and had Kobe in the room to vouch and try to like lobby for LA to sign with LA. So tell me a team whose guy ain't in the mix.
That makes sense.
Okay, but we talking about player empowerment age. That wasn't player empowerment age. LeBron ushered in player empowerment age. He is the captain of that. LeBron has weight in the league. I would venture to say that LeBron James has more weight in the league than Kobe ever did.
In the league, I'm not gonna go there. In the league,
Kobe has his own
with
trophy.
People respect Kobe.
uh,
I would say people probably respect Kobe more than LeBron, but LeBron has more weight. Like every team he went to, LeBron had major say in the roster development,
I mean,
more so than any other star in the league.
I mean, like you mentioned, the time was different. So the era was definitely different, and the way he managed his career with the whole move to Miami, that in itself was already setting it up for like, I don't know, this kind of stardom, this different level of stardom that we haven't really seen before.
Yeah, and
and those short contracts. Like, hey, I'm on the sign like 1-1 or 2-1, and you better do what I say. I'm bouncing, and he had the track record to show that he wasn't playing.
Okay, he was doing that around what 2009, 2010.
Whenever he went to Miami.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
when he went to Miami.
Okay. LaMarcus Aldridge was in that room with LA in 2015.
What I'm saying is, no other superstar has had as much weight with their team as LeBron. Like Kobe. Okay, Kobe wanted to leave and go to the Clippers. He wanted these people. They had the dark ages in LA with Kobe. Let's not forget that after Shaq left.
Yeah,
and they didn't bring too many people in.
And he demanded to be traded.
LeBron wouldn't have stayed. Either you do what I say on bounce.
He was in the Kobe was in the middle of his contract. He would have had to been traded. He did demand a trade to Charlotte or Chicago. They convinced him to stick around. That's when they went and traded and got Pau Gasol. But those dark ages, it was only like 2 years. He wasn't staying around for that long.
It wasn't that long, yeah. It wasn't.
So all that hoopla about Kobe was just gonna, be a corporate guy. No, he was gonna leave too. The only reason he stuck around is because they actually got talent.
But Kobe even said he's not about either you want to play with the Lakers or you don't. He said that.
Yeah.
LeBron is actively out here recruiting cats. Next person I think I want to play with is Stephen Curry. So that on his TV show,
I'm not blaming
Kobe would have never.
Long story short, though. Long story short, I'm not blaming LeBron for this roster situation.
Thank you, Seki Hoodie Kurt.
Long story short.
so sit there and wallow in your pain and grief, and we'll move on. We'll move on to the people who actually made it. Like, why are we talking about people who ain't even relevant right now? It's the playoffs. Oh, about to be the playoffs. Play-ins and playoffs. We're going to start with the play-in predictions. We got the Nets in Cleveland going on first. Then we have the Hawks and Nets follow up with the 9 and 10 spot. And then we want to see who comes out of that. And then on the west side, we got T-Wolves and Clips for the 7 and 8. And then the Pelicans and Spurs. Someone said the Pelicans were trying to tank. So they take their way to the ninth seed. I don't know how they do that. But anyways, we can just start with our predictions, man, from the Nets and Cleveland side of things, man. Who do you guys think is going to come out of this matchup? I'll go with you, second rookie, Kurt.
Second rookie.
Thank you, last draftee pick, Chris. All right, so listen. We're talking about Garland. We're talking about Evan Mobley. We're talking about Allen, right? Going against Katie Irving. It don't matter who else you got on the team. We know the Nets don't play defense, but you got to outscore them, right? They're making it out of that game. Katie and healthy Kyrie are making it out of that game. So much so that the Vegas odds, man, have the Nets at a negative 5,000. They're the favorites. Negative 5,000.
Negative 5,000.
The Cavs, these are the odds to make the playoffs. The Cavs are negative 500. Negative 5,000, negative 500.
So basically, you got to put down $5,000 to win $100.
Yep. Yeah. So they're pretty much saying that Nets are going to get the 7 seed, the Cavs are going to get the 8 seed is what they're saying. In order for that to happen, the Nets are going to they're going to beat the Cavs. So yeah, I'm betting on the Nets.
Okay, Kev, you think you betting the same?
Yeah, I'm with that. I could see it being potentially like a bad game for like Kyrie or something like that that throws things off and they don't have the defense to fall back on, and then oops, there goes that game. Mm-hmm. They've dropped something like that before, where if the offense just misses a slight beat, and you don't have that defense to fall back on, they do get in trouble. But I think they're gonna handle this game pretty well and come out there and get the 7th spot.
Yeah, so this is my only thing, man. I'm gonna go with the Nets, but I will say this: Cleveland got a puncher's chance. They have a good offense. Their defense is ranked what,
Amazing.
seven? Yeah, they're 7th in defensive efficiency. Yo, if they can make this a muddy game and because we've seen the Nets have lapses on defense. And if you can, like, punch them in the mouth real quick, kind of get them out, like, on the back of their heels, and then just kind of weather the storm and keep the game close. If it's coming down to a crunch time, like 5 points within, like, 3 minutes of the game, I'm going to pick Cleveland. You know why? Because they play defense, and I've seen so many times the defensive rotation on the Nets is just garbage, especially at crunch time. So
I hear what you're saying, but you're talking about a Nets team that missed the next round despite a big toe on Kevin Durant, who was playing without Harden and without Irving.
Mm-hmm. Guess what? That's fine. A big toe is a big toe. This is his fault. She got smaller shoes.
But it was
No, he can't do that.
debatable. Debatable. What I'm saying is that was KD without both superstars. Of course, Harden's with Philly. Now you're talking about KD with Kyrie.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not betting against KD. I just can't.
Okay. And there's nothing wrong with that. And that's why I said I'm still picking the Nets as well. Like, they are the heavy favorites, as you can tell from the from Vegas numbers. However, I'm not
Negative 5,000.
Yeah, I'm not gonna poo-poo on Cleveland because Cleveland has been productive, and they again defense, man. That's where it's at. And sometimes when it comes down to, you know, those final minutes, defense gets real tight. It's a little bit harder to make those shots, and it's a little bit harder to get open. So the Nets just don't do that, and we've seen it a lot this season where they've lost big, like, close games because they defensive rotation was trash. So, and if you need a reference, go see the Dallas Mavericks Nets game that happened, I want to say, like, a few weeks ago, where Dinwiddie knocked the ball, the knockdown shot in front of them. So, but yeah. All right. So then after that, man, we got the 9 and 10 spot, man. The Hawks and the Hornets. Trae Young. Remember that team was supposed to be like the best young team, best young core, blah, blah, blah.
Best young team, young core.
Not the 9th right now. They got to go against the Hornets. So who y'all got on this one? I go with you, Kurt.
I'm gonna go with Atlanta. The Hawks, I mean, the Hornets, I like them, but Gordon Hayward, he's ruled out of the play-in with his foot injury, right? I think if they had Gordon, he's fragile, but he's a playmaker. He moves the ball. He helps the offense, right? Mm-hmm. And he's not a sleeve on defense. He can hold his man. Without him, I got to go with Atlanta because we've seen what Trae Young could do, man. I love Trae Young as a villain in the playoffs. He's my favorite. He reminds me of Reggie Miller as a villain. Like, that's one of the best ones. Trae rises to the occasion. And Atlanta they were hot towards the end of the season. So on this one, I'm going with Atlanta. I'm going with the seeding. That's why Atlanta's 9 and Charlotte's 10.
Okay, all right.
I rock with all that.
I'm gonna say you going with that? You going with that notion?
I actually rock with everything you said. Like even the reasoning. Like I think just lost my boy name, Trae. I believe he's gonna step up, man. I believe he relish in these moments, and I think that villain side of him is going to shine. I think this is the things what bring him out the best. So they've been on a run already, coming on to the close. Charlotte, I think they're pretty good. I actually think they have a chance. I think it might be a very interesting matchup. I think it might be even more interesting than we think it would be, but I still think they're going to come up with it. I think Trae's going to do what needs to be done.
Yeah. Congratulations, Kurt, man. We all agree with you for the first time, I think, in history of the world. Yeah, I do believe the Hawks.
Let's X that part out, Chris. Like, whenever you talk, like just edit that part out.
Okay, yeah, I take
Like
that.
right then. Yeah.
All right. So yeah, man, the Hawks and Hornets. This is gonna be a game of offense, and I mean, obviously, you look at the best player on the Hawks and the best player on the Hornets, LaMelo versus Trey. I'm a big Trey. You know, Trey has already been a little bit battle test. He's a little battle season. He's went against the Bucks and he's went against the Knicks, and he's made a name for himself in the bright lights and stuff. So, Charlotte just isn't there yet. Though I think they were in the play-ins last year, and they missed it. They're gonna miss it again. They're just gonna fall off, and they gotta retool. They gotta get rid of Gordon Hayward and free up that money and get someone who can actually play.
I wonder who they can trade him to.
I don't know. LA likes, players.
LA's be picking up anybody.
Seems like it, man.
Rob Pelinka is out here like, I remember he was good. Let me get.
You need to see like it, yo, like a band of misfits, really, out there.
He could be like, hold up a basketball. Do you know what this is? Yeah, it's a basketball. I want you on the team. He's smart. He knows.
Yeah. So yeah, we got Hawks, man. We got Hawks, Nets, and Cleveland, and then the Cleveland and Hawks will have to face off for the final spot. So who y'all think is gonna come out of that? I can start you, Kev.
Cleveland Hawks, man. I've heard a lot of hype about Cavs, but unfortunately I haven't been able to watch their games to ride that wave with y'all. So I'm gonna say, man, is Atlanta Cavs is what you're saying is gonna happen next?
Atlanta Cavs, yes.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Atlanta on that one still.
Okay, all right. No love for Kevin Love. Huh?
I just haven't seen them enough, to be honest with you. But the games that I have seen, I was a little impressed. Like these Kevin Love still doing his thing, but like Mobley and these guys, like they're pretty good, man. I was impressed, but it was just like a couple games here and there. So for me to be like, yeah, I'm rocking with them. They really made a comeback. They're on the downturn trend right now, right? They were like second seed, real up there in the standings. Mm-hmm. So for them to be where they are right now isn't really a good play for them. They are dealing with some injuries too, right? Isn't someone out?
Garland or Sexton was out. I think Sexton was out.
Sexton's been out.
Yeah, and that's when Garland kind of
the whole season.
Yeah. So
yeah.
I mean, I think they had some lingering injuries here and there, but nothing too major outside of Sexton.
Major.
Yeah.
It's like a rock with the Hawks in that one. Let's see if they fly through it.
All right, Kurt, man, you rocking with him too? You going with Atlanta?
Nah, man, I gotta go with Cavs in this one, man, because their defense is just incredible. They'll probably let Trey cook, but Cleveland's capable of shutting everyone else down. And with the two giants in the middle, man, with Evan Mobley and Jared Allen, nobody's coming in that paint. Nobody's coming in the paint, man. So they're gonna live or die by the three of Trey, who's a slightly above average 3-point shooter, in this season. Herder's above average. They're gonna live or die by them, man. So give me in that situation, Cleveland all day, because the paint is shut down. Cleveland's dangerous, man, on defense.
Yeah. I'm gonna do the same, Kev. Yeah, you should be watching those games. Those games are really good. At least the highlights. This is the thing, man. Trey, they're good, but they haven't been as explosive as they were last year, and I don't know what the difference is.
Yeah.
And maybe that's just the sophomore slump, or it's just coming some of that playoff hangover. Just first time making it in, and thought it was gonna be easy, not getting back into the lab and getting better and sharpening the tools. And yeah, I haven't really seen it, and they've been up and down this year. But Cleveland, again, you can just go ahead and hang your hat on the defense. Defense shows up wherever, man. Defense is just a product of effort and communication. So
and they hungry.
Yeah, and so they are in stride. I said it. I said Kevin Love. As far as like, and a lot of people make fun of him and stuff, but the dude has kind of reemerged as a very viable player.
Yeah. He just off the bench, like
he just had 32 points in 15 minutes. Guess who else done that? There was in the final game. Guess who else did that in the final game? The Celtics. Jason Tatum. He did that.
The Celtics are hot, man. They were dangerous.
They are.
And the Celtics were like one of the best teams coming out like the final stretch of the season.
I think that's the best record. Yep.
Yeah, and I think they were a real threat before Robert Williams got injured because he was a key part of what they did.
Yeah. So the thing is that, you know, Cleveland just has this basically like rough and rugged like lineup. They like to play defense and they invest in it. And then you have Garland who can create off the shot, you know, off the dribble or whatever, and you got Kevin Love who's a knockdown guy.
Yep. Okay.
Jared Allen just doing Jared Allen things. So yeah, I know. I go ahead.
He's the one that I saw out, Jared Allen. Like, he wasn't playing in the past couple of games that I saw. He's been on the sidelines.
Gotcha.
Yeah, he's out indefinitely, but he'll come back for the play-in. It's a finger. Yeah. I would be shocked if he set out the play-in game.
Yeah. So yeah, that's what I got. So we got the Nets, Cleveland, making it, and Hawks and Hornets. Just go ahead and, you know, get ready for the off season because it's gonna come really quick. All right, and so let's move on to the Western side. We got the T-Wolves band headed by Ant-Man, Pat Bev, who just got ejected on his final game, and who else? Cat. Yeah, how did I forget Cat? They're going against Paul George-led Clippers.
Woo.
Came back, like, just never skipped a beat. He's out here still doing Paul George things. PG-13. So, with this one, man, I know PG, Paul George is your favorite guy. Kurt, who you got? You got T-Wolves, you got Clips.
I'm sorry.
You said you was like, I think you said something like, Paul George is a Hall of Fame level player, which I think is what you said. If I'm being verbatim, if I'm, you know,
you're not being verbatim at all. But Paul George is a good player. So in this game, Clippers, man, because Ty Lue is a magician, man. The Clippers should not have won as many games as they won with the injuries they sustained. It doesn't make sense. It's unfathomable, right? Ty Lue is a magician on the sideline, and that Clippers team, they are hungry, man. Do not dismiss them. With Paul George coming back, dude, it's Reggie Jackson's like, yo, help me with some of this load because your boy's tired. So now you got that two-headed beast, man. And not to mention, you still got Kawhi. No one knows his status. No one knows. Would you be shocked if he showed up for the play-in?
Yes.
I'll be super shocked.
Yes.
I wouldn't. I would be shocked if he didn't.
What?
Kawhi could just be like, Kawhi could be the first NBA star ever for a whole season. And just be like,
and you won't be shocked by that. And you won't be shocked by that.
No. I feel like Kawhi's healthy, sitting back there, just trying to see what they're gonna do. But let's take Kawhi out of the equation, man. The Timberwolves. I like Edwards. I like Russell's been good with them, and Towns is just a beast, man. But they don't play defense. The Clippers are a two-way team. They can score and they can play defense on you. So I'm just giving it to them. They're battle tested. The Wolves, Karl Anthony Towns, and them, they're not in the playoffs, unfortunately. And I think that Lue can outcoach a lot of coaches in the league, man. So, yeah, give me them, man. I like how the Clips. There's no ego in that team. Lue puts forth the starting lineup and the closing lineup that's the best matchups for who the team they're playing against, man. And I think that really helps them win. So give me the Clippers.
Okay, all right. So the Clips. All right. I'm glad that you believe in Paul George. Kev,
I believe in Ty Lue.
Hey, for a second time tonight, man, he's hitting the nail on the head with that one. Like every point and reason behind why they would win, I'm with that. Battle tested Ty Lue in this season and what he was working with and where he's able to take them. The fact that Minnesota is, up and down, but he's some young guys who are still developing. They got a good offensive game, but still need some work on the defensive end. All those things. True. Clips coming out. Paul George came back like he never left. Back like I never left. Yeah, he's
Exactly.
doing it, man. So yeah, tips all day.
Oh man, wow! I didn't know we was going to be doing this here. The T Wolves and the Clips. You know, I am ambassador of Paul George, especially since people were trying to put him out to pasture in the bubble. The T Wolves, man, they're really good though. And yeah, you're right. Ty Lue has been really good. I just don't see how the Clips are going to get past the T Wolves. With the T Wolves springboarding since the All-Star break, they've just been really, really rough and rugged. They've also been like they've already been like a young team, so they're a young team, and they're finally figuring out how to hone their energy to wins. And since All-Star break, they've just been knocking down some really good quality wins. Yeah, I do understand Clippers they do have Paul George back, and they're not getting Kawhi. So I'm not even gonna until I see the unicorn, the mythological beast come back. You know what I'm saying, on a rainbow. You know what I'm saying, he's just gonna be riding on his sleigh from Santa. Then it's not happening. So I'm not unless that happens. I'm gonna have to go with the T Wolves because the T Wolves are still pretty good, and I'm not gonna knock on them because they're winning at the right time. So, and Pat Bear knows the Clippers inside and out. So,
do you think that the Timberwolves are better than the Jazz?
no.
Okay.
I'm sorry. I take it back. They are better than the Jazz right now.
Oh, where they're playing right now? Okay.
Obviously throughout the season because it's the season, and in the beginning of the season, the T Wolves they are really good. Like, y'all forget who's on this team. D'Angelo Russell's on the team. Anthony Edwards on the team. Cat is on the team. Pat Bev is on the team, and then you got a bunch of just young, dirty players. Meaning, like, they'll do all the dirty work. They'll dive for the balls. They'll just run. They just get out in transition and run all day. They actually have.
Don't forget like Malik Beasley. Here's my question though: in a changing teams in a one-game tournament, playing tournament, would you pick the Timberwolves over the Jazz or the Jazz over the Timberwolves?
I'll pick the Timberwolves
over the Jazz.
Right now. Yo,
in one-game tournament.
Didn't we just see the Jazz lose a 21-point lead to the Golden State Warriors, who didn't even have any of their core in?
Hey. Okay. You're just good like that.
And Utah just let it happen. This is with Mike Conley, Donovan Mitchell, Rudy Gobert. Like, they still had their team. You can't. I really like Mike Conley. I really like Donovan Mitch. You can't let. I like it. If it was any other team, you can't let LeBron would not be able to get away with letting the 21-point lead go by the side and they lose the game. We saw with OKC, we was getting on them. OKC didn't. I don't know if they even had Shai Gilgeous in the game. But my point is this: they let a 20-point game slide, and we roasted them for a week. I'm not doing it with Donovan Mitchell. I'm giving him the same. He's not superstar level, but he is elite enough. He should not be letting that happen. So I'm gonna have to get the T-Wolves right now until they show me otherwise. So yeah, that's if you want an easy path into the playoffs, go through the Jazz. At this point, that's the path you want to go through. Everyone else is ready to go. Everyone else is ready to play. Yeah. So I'm going with the T-Wolves, but we'll see. It's a slight edge. I do want Paul George to succeed because he's got a bad rap for effectively carrying the Clippers for almost 2.5 seasons. So yeah. So let's
2.5.
Yeah. That's about it.
About 2.5.
The first year, Kawhi was on vacation. He was like, today I'm just not gonna play this week. he come in, he go, you can go. Hey guys, let me know when y'all really need me, and I'll show up. And
He showed up in the playoffs.
And then he showed up in the playoffs in the bubble, and then he was tired. Remember, he was like, "Oh, I'm too tired. I'm too tired. Montrez, go ahead, get all the points for us." Like, that's what it was. And then next year, Paul George had to carry that team by himself, and
Kawhi was there.
Oh, okay, he got down. Okay, and then he went away, got hurt.
He got hurt in the playoffs.
In the playoffs, they were down when Kawhi was in, and then Paul George took over, and they won that series, and they almost won the next series.
Get the math. He was the best. He was still like the best player in the playoffs for the Clippers until he got injured.
Who? Kawhi?
Yeah.
Yeah, but he was the best player, and they were losing. That's my point.
Sure.
So I'm gonna go ahead and say this Paul George team now. Kawhi, take a backseat.
I'm with you on that. I don't know if Kawhi would agree with that, but I think everybody else would.
Hey, Kawhi got paid, so he don't care. He's out here chilling in L.A., his hometown, with all that buddy in the strip clubs allegedly. All right, Pels and Spurs. But C.J. McCollum had to come up, huh? He came through and jumped on a good team, or a team that was making to the playoffs.
I've always wondered what CJ would look like outside of Dame. Not saying he was holding the bag, not saying they weren't like a dynamic backcourt. I always wondered where he would be outside of Dame. He's showing it now, and here's a fun fact, man. Vegas is rewarding him because you know how the Nets are negative 5,000 favorite. New Orleans is minus 5,000 for the West.
Wait, they're negative? They're minus 5,000 as well? To make it in?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay, so they're the same odds as Nets. Gotcha.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Well,
it is on the West. To make it on the West. Yeah.
So they got to beat the Clips for the T-Wolves.
So they have them. T-Wolves is minus 800, and the Spurs, and then we're going to get to them on minus 300.
Okay. Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I was like that too because the third on the East, Toronto is plus 350. So yeah.
Wait, Toronto is plus
350. That was like the third best odds on the East to make the playoffs.
They're in the playoffs. Are they in the playoffs? Yeah, they're in the playoffs. I'm confused.
No, I think they are. So I don't know why they got them as plus 300 to make the playoffs.
I was gonna say.
You know what? Let me. I gotta check my source, man. I gotta see when that article was written.
Well, wasn't I don't know.
Well, maybe that's what it is. Because already in no other the East are not giving any other team a respect. that could be it. Because I already in.
So okay, all right. So who you got for the Pels and Spurs?
Who you got, man?
I know what Vegas says. And, it's kind of dumb to bet against the house. And the Pels are with CJ, man, and BI, they're going crazy. I just don't want to go against Pop. I don't want to go against Pop, but what could possibly be his last year. He hasn't said it, but it just has that feeling. He just made, I guess, the most wins this season. The Spurs are doing pretty well. They seem balanced now. You know how your mind and your heart differ?
Mm-hmm.
My heart is going with Pop. I'm not 100% secure in that pick, but I just want to go with Pop and the Spurs.
Okay, all right, going with your heart. Okay, I feel you, man. You sound like Alabama. Kid.
Whoa, hey, no, Kid. Alabama is the most winningest football team on earth.
See, that's your heart talking. See, that's your heart talking.
Kid. That could be factual.
Google it.
That could be facts. They are pretty winning.
Yes, thank you. That's facts.
I'm rocking recruit on this one too, man. I'm not going against Pop right now. That's the main reason. I've seen Spurs just do okay this season. Not great, but not overly bad as well. So I just feel like this one game scenario, they're coming on top in this one game scenario. You know, he's have a chance, but I'm a favor Spurs on this one.
Okay, all right. So then for me, man, Pels and Spurs. This is actually probably the hardest for me, because the Pels are up and coming, like they're productive, but they're inconsistent. I don't know what Pels we're gonna get. We're gonna get like the Pels that just are out of it, like not really being productive. Yeah, I'm just hedging my bets. I'm gonna go with the Spurs too, only because the Spurs are more consistent. I know they're gonna play for Pop. Pop don't let that stuff fly. So Pels, you can get really productive, high activity, or you can get Pels. Like, what the Pels be doing. So
Yeah.
I'm agreeing with you guys. I'll probably go with the Spurs as well. So we got the Clips, at least for you guys, number 7, and then I got the T-Wolves at number 7. So who you guys coming out between the Spurs and the Clips?
I mean, that's a Clips all day.
Yeah, it's gonna be the Clips, man. They just have more talent.
Yeah. Open the shut case, it's gonna be T-Wolves because, that's again they got more talent. They're just ready. They're ready for that. They're ready for 8. You know what I'm saying? Or
so it's gonna be Clippers. So you're saying Clippers and T-Wolves?
I'm sorry.
7 to 8.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be T-Wolves 7 and then Clips 8. And then y'all think it's gonna be. I'm sorry. So between y'all, it's between Spurs and the T-Wolves. My bad. Y'all said T-Wolves, right? Or y'all going with Spurs?
No.
You had it right the first time. You had it right. Yeah, like we were right. And then there will be Clips versus Spurs.
Mm-hmm.
We got Clips, and for your scenario, you went with Wolves. It'll be Wolves versus Spurs.
Okay. So yeah, I think 7 and 8 is gonna remain 7 and 8. That's fine.
Actually, we're tripping because if Clips and Wolves playing for 7, or Clips and Wolves play for 7.
No, Clips and Wolves play for 7, right? So y'all said that the Clips are gonna win that. I said T-Wolves are gonna win that game.
Yeah, after that, they're done. They don't need to play again after that.
Exactly.
Right.
So then the loser. So y'all think the loser's gonna be T-Wolves? They gotta play the Spurs.
Correct. Yeah.
So I just think.
I think Tim. I think. Yeah, I'm with you, Chris. I do think the Timberwolves will probably. They have more offensive firepower than the Spurs, but Pop again, man, is coaching trickery, man. Because the Timberwolves are so suspect. Like, I feel like it's easy to game plan for Russell.
Mm-hmm.
Edwards is going to get it. Edwards is a beast.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to do what he does, and I think he can play. I think he can play in the Towns' mind.
Hey.
He's susceptible.
I mean, Cat is, but what about D'Lo? What about Ant?
I think he can game plan against D'Lo, but Edwards, he's gonna ball. Edwards is gonna ball. I don't think you can get him. He's gonna do what he does.
Okay, all right. I've seen Ant take some of these assignments too, man. They the point guard and pick him up half court.
Yeah,
I've just seen it as a different. I don't know. Pat Bev has really ingrained his attitude on his team. So
he has, man. That was a good pickup for them.
So I don't know, man. But so yeah,
you're not betting against the Spurs. Is what you're saying, Kurt? So you're seeing Clips number 7, Spurs number 8 going into the playoffs.
As you say that to me, like in my mind, I was going with that, but as you say it back to me, and I'm hearing what you're saying, it's hard. Minnesota, man, they got a squad, man. I can't like. Nah, I'm about to go with Clippers and Minnesota, man.
Okay.
Yeah. No, I feel the same way. It's Clips in Minnesota going in. So Clips win that 7 and 8. Wolves fall to 8. Have to play the Spurs. Take that game.
Okay. All right. And I'm holding serve. T-Wolves and Clips. Keep it simple. So yeah, cool. All right. Well, that's all I got, man. Anything y'all want to add before we start to shut this down?
That's the picture, man. Talk about playoffs next time.
Yep.
Yes.
Definitely talk about the playoffs next week. So, all right, well, we can start off with the sign-off, man. We'll go ahead and throw it to you, Kev, man. What you got for everyone as you ride into the sunset?
Nothing for y'all tonight, man. Just appreciate y'all listening to us, rocking with us. Like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. Lakers, we pull a memorial source for you, man. It's okay. Get right, get better. What's the Lakers gonna do, really and truly? What are they gonna do? I'm really curious to know what's gonna happen next season. Vogel, is he here? Is he gone?
No, they're going into the G League.
Wow.
Yo,
They're gonna win the G League chip.
they might as well go for real, yo, because they're not. Anyway, we're not getting back into that. Okay, Lakers. Sorry, the season didn't work out the way it was expected to. Like, we all had high hopes, high expectations, fall way flat, way flat. But it's all good. Such as sports, you know. Things happen the way it happened, but we still enjoying the season the way it went out and it played out. Warriors doing their thing. We're not talking anything about Warriors in the play-in this year. Yes, sir. They made it.
3 seed, here we come, baby. What? Bump the Mavs. Luka who?
Nah, Luka's still up there. Luka who? Yo, we still up there, like, number 3 teams right now, I believe. Though, I mean, like
We still number 3 seed.
yeah, but in the whole league, I would still put us up there as like the second or third best team in the whole league, taking the East in consideration. So, Matt Warriors did what they do, and we at the end. Appreciate y'all rocking with us this season. We're going into the playoffs next. Stay tuned.
Cool.
Warriors.
He just learned that chant 2 years ago.
2 years.
New World Kurt. Go ahead, man, with your.
Oh, what? Dude, I don't know how my name keeps changing. I never changed it.
I don't know. The numericals,
Nope.
man. The numericals.
Oh,
the
man.
time
So,
stamp.
listen.
What's
I
your
got a
factor?
question for you guys, man. Because you know, preseason, the top 2 teams were the Lakers and the Nets, right? They were chosen to make it to the championship, right? Both teams fell on hard times. The Nets, however, are at least in the play-in. So, since the 84-85 season, that's when preseason picks were first like documented and tracked. There were 3 teams that were picked to make the finals that did not make the playoffs. What I want to know is, do you guys know who the Lakers this season is one? Who are the other 2 teams?
We're back in
The
history.
Nets. Brooklyn Nets. No.
The Knicks.
Nope, not the Nets, not the Knicks. So, to answer that,
Boston.
the other 2 teams, nope, not Boston.
Oh man, you actually got a good one. Okay, I'm interested.
Not Boston. I will say the other 2 teams came in the same season.
Oh, that was recent. I think that was recent, like within a couple of years ago.
Well, I'm sorry, season, back-to-back season, not same
Oh, man,
Yeah.
you're throwing me off, man. Fake news.
season. It's recent, like 04, 05, 06.
PSV.
Lake. Oh,
Oh, who?
Yeah.
I'm gonna say Lakers again.
You can select.
Lakers when Shaq left.
Oh, when
We go to
Shaq
Miami.
to make it to the playoffs still.
Spurs? It wasn't the Spurs.
Nah, not the Spurs. But it's a Western team. A team that we just talked about.
The
this
Suns?
pod.
Clips.
Nah. Nope.
Yeah, you're just gonna go ahead this our team. Just tell us, man.
The Timberwolves. The year after they made the Western Conference Finals. When
with KG.
Sam Cassell got injured.
Yeah.
Yeah, when KG was there. Yeah. So out of those 3 teams, though, the Lakers still have the worst record after being the top that preseason pick.
Yeah. I don't know what to tell you. You know, I usually don't follow dubious stats like that, but it's nice to know. When I'm in the bar and be like, oh yeah, the Lakers are trash twice.
Twice.
What the hell was the record? Sad for the franchise.
Yeah. So cool, man. Thanks for that trivia. I like the trivia. Put that in my storage bank. So cool. All right. Well, this is First Hoodie Chris. Everyone knows me.
An original hoodie Kurt, baby. Chris trying to jock my style every day, man. Chris called me. Yeah, Chris called me and said, "What you wearing?" I said, "I'm wearing my hoodie today, man." And then all of a sudden he shows up with the hoodie.
Why would I call you to ask what you're wearing? That just sounds
I don't know
weird.
why
It
you
just
That's
sounds
weird.
weird.
Super rare. Super rare.
And then
It's weird, man.
and even if I did, then you responded according to your story. Why? That's even just as weird, or even more weird.
Listen, I answer questions, man. I don't try to justify the nature of the question. I'm like, they ask a question they want to know for some reason.
Okay.
He said,
Okay.
That's below my I don't need to know those little details.
Hey, it's off my radar too, man. I don't know what's going on with him. So, but thanks everyone for joining, man. Again, if you like it, man, hit the like button, comment in the comments, telling you what you think of what we said, what we mentioned, our predictions, and again, if you on the audio side, again, please make sure you hit the 5 stars on the Apple Podcast, hit the thumbs up, the notification bell, follow us on YouTube and all the other, again, podcast platforms, and tell a friend and tell a friend. You know what I mean? Like I said, it helps us grow. It helps everyone else get plugged in, and sometimes the best form of advertisement is the word of mouth. So please just do your part, and we're gonna keep, giving you this hot fire, man. I'll try to find a replacement for Old City Kurt here, man. So
man, OG hoodie, man. Put an ATB out on Reg, man. Where's Reg at? What part of the world is Reg at?
I don't know,
days, man.
Where in the world is Reggie?
Yeah, Reggie San Diego, man.
Yeah.
Where's Reggie?
I don't know, man. So he probably out there practicing his strong hand. You got to get his slap reps up. You know what I'm saying? So, but yeah,
swatting mosquitoes on the East Coast.
Shout out to the Reds one time. Pick up the Reds one time.
So, but yeah, man, we're here every Tuesday, and again, thanks for joining us. And until next Tuesday, guys, man, deuces.